what is the expectation? The expectation for me isn't that I would ever retire and sit on a beach and end my days that way for the last 50 years, 30 years of my life, or whatever. It's, no, dude, I'm going to work forever.
Yes.
It's just, I'm going to work on my terms.
I'm Rich.
Now what?
What's up, Tim?
How you doing, buddy?
Good, man.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, they let us in. The neighbors don't know we're here, so that's a good thing. Hopefully the alarm goes off before they, and then we can leave out the back door.
Yeah, 100%.
So we're here at the farm. Got a lot of cool stuff going on. You just got back in town from the Carolinas.
Yeah, man. You and me, I think, are the only two people who live somewhere else, and then summer in Ohio, in Cleveland, Ohio. And so yeah, I just packed up the house down there, came up, and actually flying up, Kate and the kids flew up, saw you guys at the airport and stuff too, ran into you guys coming up from Florida. So yeah, and then I drove up with the dog and car and all that kind of stuff yesterday. So yeah, man, but dude, it's good to be back in Cleveland. Like, Ohio in the summertime's awesome. It's like New York in the summertime, or it's Boston in the summertime. It's just like the Northeast and the Midwest is just epic in the summer. So I love spending time up here.
No, man, I think it's what it's about. Like you said, I think might be one other person I know that does what we do, but been gone for 6 months and a day at least. Get here, just get back to. I just feel at home here. I don't know about you. Like, it just feels 100%. Homely. A lot of people are sleeping on Cleveland, Ohio,
dude. But if you talk to people like in the real estate space or in the entrepreneurial space, they're like, dude, there's a lot of players from Ohio and from the Cleveland area. And I was like, well, there's not much to do for like 4 or 5 months out of the year when the weather sucks. So people just have their head down and they work their ass off.
So, we're sitting here in the barn. We built this thing. We just got done, last October outside of Geneva, Ohio area. And, we wanted to come together and we do all this stuff virtually, but get together and just kind of talk about what's working, what's not, and all that. What topic do you want to talk about today? I think a cool topic. I was laying today, it's 30 years in business, and I was laying in bed. I'm like, dude, I could lose everything. I got to work harder. I got to work smarter. I got to get better people on my team. This thought will never go away for guys like us. I don't know about you. How do you feel like with that? Like,
you know what it reminds me of is Jim Rohn. And in one of his books or one of his talks, I remember him saying something that, dude, this was early on in my entrepreneurial career. I'm sitting there listening to books on tape, trying to become a good entrepreneur and a good business owner, and trying to like improve myself so that way then I can attract good things to my life. And I remember him saying something along the lines of, to reach a place in life where you're both ambitious and content. He's like, man, what a place that must be, right? Because most ambitious people are not that content.
Yep.
Most contented people are not that ambitious. How can you reach a place that's kind of both? And when you talk about, hey, I made money, I built wealth, I got all these amazing things in lifestyle, but I'm also afraid of losing it. I think about that. Like, how do you create and maintain the ambition, but still have some level of contentedness where you're not totally paranoid all the time, but dude, there's a fire burning inside you.
Sure. It's not even a paranoia. It's just a reality of the life we live. Right. So I like that. It's like when I'm waking up, I mean, not only that, dude, we have a huge responsibility and steward to all the employees we have, all the patients and clients and everyone that we're working with. Right. So if we drop the ball or we fell, we're letting everyone down. So I like the content piece. It's kind of funny. Like, I'm blissful. I'm not content ever. I'm content, but I'm not content, if that makes sense. I still, I feel like I haven't done anything, dude, honestly.
Well, it's the whole, we know we're capable of more. We know that we can do more. We know that we've been blessed with certain business senses, certain emotional intelligences, and certain personality, all that kind of stuff, where it's like, dude, we have the ability to do some really cool shit. And I think you and I both, knowing each other for over a decade, like, we know and we feel this inner responsibility to do some big things, right? And to like trailblaze and burn the path and show people what's possible of a couple dudes from kids who grew up in Ohio, right? And came from the most blue collar family possible. My dad was a cop. My mom was a teacher, right? Your parents worked in construction
and like inside doing admin work. My mom.
And it's like, dude, if we can build what we've built based on coming from that upbringing, it's like, it's pretty amazing. I think it really gets people excited about what they can then accomplish, right? And so there's this underlying like responsibility because we know that we have the ability to do some cool things. And so like, I never want to slow down because I feel like it's wasting talent and opportunity that God or the universe gave us.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like we're going to die. And I think about that often, right? Because time is fleeting. You go hang out with older people. I think we talked about this before, but everyone should go to a nursing home. Talk to 10 people at the nursing home. What do they wish they'd have done different? You know, obviously don't stay on the Alzheimer's side because they might not know what's going on. I dealt with that for 8 years with my grandpa. But like, you know, go and talk. You know, what's their regrets? Their regrets will not be, man, I should have played smaller. You'll never. There's no way you'll ever hear that. You know, oh, I should have waited longer to go on that vacation. I should have like. All these things, like they were content. They said, I'm going to do it next year, the year after, 5 years, and time it just doesn't come. It doesn't show up.
Dude, I read some books about that, the end of life, and I read like a lot of articles and things on those things of like, what do people regret? Dude, nobody ever regrets the chances or the risks that they took.
Yep.
They all regret things that they didn't do far more than the things that they did do.
Right.
And that has always been like this underlying, underburning sensation of mine of like, dude, when in doubt, do what's going to make for the best story. Do what's going to make for the, like
always.
If I don't know, hey, should I go out? Should I go and take this trip? Should I go and, dude, what's going to make for the best story? Because at the end of the day, at the very least, you've got something cool to talk about, and it's going to make you more interesting as a human being to be able to just talk about that story, even if it's a disastrous failure of a business experience. But, you know, taking the action, right? Doing the activity. And I think where it might come in is how do you, and we did an episode on this of like making decisions based on a certain framework of ensuring that, you know, the things that you're spending your time on and the things that you're putting that effort towards are things that align with your long-term vision and align with not putting your business at risk, but, you know, just making some of those good, smart, long-term stuff.
Well, I think you got to understand, like, you know, I was talking with some guy who's worth a lot of money, 9 figures, and he's like, man, when's this ever going to change? Is this ever going to stop? I'm like, dude, if you didn't have the thing that you're worried about changing, you wouldn't be where you're at today. It's exactly the muscle that allowed you to get to the point. By the way, Blockbuster thought they were going to ruin their business by buying Netflix, but guess what? Netflix won, Blockbuster loses. You know, so sometimes in business, you just don't know what is the right choice or the wrong choice, but no choice is definitely the wrong choice on some of this stuff. So I think we got to like have that. I don't know, being around other people. I don't know anybody that's successful that doesn't feel responsible for doing more. Definitely, like I could lose it. I could literally. We're one decision away from feeling like. And again, we all know in reality that's not the case. But it's like how we think.
You remember the book Millionaire Next Door?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Dude, he says it in that book. He's like, people with net worths of $30 million and more, right, still feel like they're going to lose their money, and they're like anxious almost about losing everything, right, because they're so focused on it. How do you think, you know, mentally somebody can kind of calm that down, or should they not calm it down?
Yeah, I don't think they should calm it down. I think it's the temperature that I think it's the thermostat that allows them to get to that point. Because again, the guy, you know, I was hanging out with a guy who's worth $1 billion plus. He's afraid of his kids losing it. His kids' losing it. So he's still afraid of losing it. Might not be through him, but through his process. If he doesn't set up the proper plan, set up the proper pieces, and he's spending a lot of energy on it. But 100%, man, I think it's a gift.
Yeah.
You know, I see people around and they're like, got life figured out, but they can't pay their bills. They can't take a vacation. They can't do these things, but they think they have it figured out. And I'm like, why are you so relaxed? Why are you so like okay with everything? They just accept it. Like, oh, this is the life I've been dealt. You know, that's kind of how they deal with it.
Contentedness of not being that ambitious, right? And then we are so ambitious that we're never ever content. Yeah. So it's like, how do you find that happy medium? And
well, you know what it is, dude? A lot of times people are hanging out with people and like, dude, why aren't you grateful? It's like, who says I'm not grateful? I can be ambitious and also grateful at the same time. You know, so it's like, it almost gives them an out. Like, oh, I can be so I'm grateful, so I don't need all that. Well, no one needs anything, right? Just like when I pull up the car back in the day, people would be like, oh, it must be nice. You know, how many families could you feed with that car? I'm like, well, I fed a lot of families.
Yeah, that's why I got the car. Right?
Yeah, and the workers that work with us, and the workers that work at the Rolls-Royce dealership. And oh, by the way, you're driving a brand new Kia. You could ride a bike. Shit, you could walk your ass Like, you don't need a car. What are you talking? So when does it stop? When? But again, it's like what people say out loud is what's inside of them. That's their reflection, right? They're deflecting the reality of their life. So they have to do that. That's kind of what makes them feel like they're doing something. And I think it's a very interesting space to be in because again, I genuinely feel dumber every day because there's so much opportunity out there, right? And I was writing today for my 30 years, 30 lessons. Is like one of them is like, I could have had I could have a bigger house. I could have a bigger car collection. We always could, but we also could have less. So I'm content, but I'm also very ambitious to get more. And it's not more stuff; it's more out of life. How do I squeeze 25 hours out of a 24-hour day? How do we do more with the family? Do more with the kid? Like all this stuff, dude. Because now my son, he'll be 11, which sucks because now he like, Dad, I want to hang out with my friends. I'm like, I got to learn how to mountain bike now because that's what he wants to do. So I'm like, he's trying to get me to buy a $2,500 mountain bike. I'm like, dude, just buy me a $500. I don't know the difference, you know? And so it's all these things going on in life. And it's like, we're adjusting in real time. And, content. I like this. I think this is a big subject, man. I think a lot of people are suffering from it.
100%, man. I think I mean, for me, right, I was just 100 miles an hour, man. The only speed I knew was like just fucking go, build the portfolio, add doors. And it's come to almost a little bit of a crossroads of like quantity versus quality, right?
Yeah.
I was very quantity driven early on.
Of course.
I wanted to just build. And I've realized I care far more about quality than I do quantity now. And but at the same time, I don't think you can only go towards one or the other. I think you need quantity in order to then refine down to quality.
Of course.
Right? And so like you need to go and test out 5 different CPAs before you figure out the CPA that you like, or 5 different insurance guys or 10 different masterminds or networking groups, or places maybe you want to live or places you want to visit, and then you figure out this is where I want the office, or this is where I want to raise a family, or this is the kind of lifestyle I want to lead. But you don't do that unless you kind of shotgun go wide, and then you can kind of refine down.
Well, I always say you don't know what you want until you know what you don't want. Like if you ask someone, hey, tell me 10 things you want, and they're like, and they'll say 2 or 3, blah, whatever, and it's usually what someone else has, not what they want, but what they think they want, or what they think other people think they want, as opposed to, okay, cool, tell me what you don't want. They'll give you a whole laundry list. I don't want to work a lot of hours. I don't want to have crappy property. I don't want to have this. I don't want a bad employee. Like, cool, okay, that's a starting point. Now, what is the root cause of all these things? You. It's a reflection of you, and that reflection now is going down, as we'll talk about that maybe in a different show, but like leadership, you're leading like who you are. Your standards are off, your implementation, like you just aren't a good leader yet.
I like that idea of an actual exercise that you can go through of taking a piece of paper and saying, hey, here's all the things that I'm thankful for, right? And I think gratitude is like the ultimate secret to happiness. I think it's the most important thing. If you're not thankful, and we talk about gratitude all the time, we talk about how blessed we are all the time, we talk about all those things, and I think that's why we attract more good stuff into our life, right? And it leads to a level of contentedness too, because we're thinking about where we came from, not just where we're going. Yeah. And you're looking at that perspective both all the time. That's what gives you the ambition and what gives you the contentedness. But sitting down and actually making a list of all the things I don't want. And I did that, 18 months ago, and I've cleared out all this stuff. Hey, listen, I don't want to jump on, these meetings or these calls, or like this stuff's unnecessary. I'm not doing coffee meetings. I'm not doing blah, blah. And I eliminated all that stuff because of the time suck, or because of the energy suck, or because of the headaches it creates. And like, I find myself getting off of asset management calls, just friggin' angry all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Why am I doing this to myself? Send me a bulleted list of where we're at, and then I'm going to respond, and then I don't have to get worked up about stuff. And it's just like, being aware of that. If you've never sat down and actually gone through the exercise of just listing all the shit that you don't want to do or you don't like in your business or in your life, dude, just sit down and go through that, figure out what the root cause is of those things, or what are the commonalities. And a lot of times we are our own bottleneck.
100%.
We are the reason that the catalyst to those circumstances. And so it's like, let's get rid of those things, focus on the positive things. And just by eliminating the negative,
Sure.
a lot of times, just through osmosis, dude, it gets filled in with things that are higher quality that'll happen in your life, even if you're not intentional about putting positive things in there.
It's funny, individuals, they'll clap real loud when they're, when they make a decision that works, but they actually won't take responsibility for the things that don't work. So it's like you said, you got to sit down. So make a list, guys. Make a list of what you don't like. And again, like you said, this takes time. These meetings, I feel angry, or I feel happy, or I feel motivated, or I feel demotivated, or I feel deflated. Like, there's meetings remember we used to do the meetings back in the day with the calls, like, where are we at on project, blah, 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 blah. And it was always the same shit, different day, blah, blah, blah.
Same thing, dude.
And it's like, guys, like, I could look at this at a report. I know, like, me showing up only makes it worse, because I'm going to scream, yell, cuss, freak out. Not only does it derail them, it derails my day. So, and again, as opposed to like, okay, guys, empower them, give them the tools. Here's what I need back to you. They're going to handle it way different. And shit, it still worked. It actually worked better, because I didn't have a negative day. They got to do their thing. But there's problems.
Dude, we're the bottleneck in the operation side of
Always.
things anyways, right? Like, we're the visionaries. As soon as I get on a phone call, I start scatterbraining different ideas, dude, and it just takes people off the path of actually implementing the blocking and tackling that they need to do on a day-to-day basis, right? Like, there's not a lot of action steps or KPIs that need to be measured on a daily. It's like, dude, it's all the same shit. It's prospecting for deals, it's prospecting for tenants, it's prospecting for money, it's prospecting for, like, it all falls into just a handful of things that anybody on our team, if they just focus on those handful, everything, it's 80 to 90% of knocking down all the dominoes of what they need to do in order to stabilize an asset or stabilize the business or move the needle along. And dude, when I come in there and visionaries step into those operational meetings, dude, we start talking, we start throwing out ideas. Dude, it just takes everybody off their path and distracts them from
They don't hear
doing
ideas,
those things.
though. They hear execution.
Exactly.
Because they don't want to disappoint us. They think we're just
point.
talking an idea and a vision, a thought by the way, it's a thought. We forgot we even said it, but now they grabbed hold of it and they're like, I got to go implement that. We're like, guys, we're not even talking, like, it was just a thought. Like, what are you doing? And then it derails everyone. And then it takes 30 days to get them back on track, because now they feel like you don't like them, or you're frustrated, or you're upset. And it's like, dude, we're all adults here. This is an idea. And it's something, one of our companies right now, we have a guy, he's a very, very big ideal machine, like, to the point where I'm like, dude, I'm not even joking. We're creating an environment where he has to plug his ideas in there and no one else sees them except him. I'm not even joking. It's that bad. Dude, it's bad. So we're like, yo, you got to calm down, because again, it's and I'm the big idea guy, but it's frustrating us because we're implementing so hard, and ideas don't get you to the finish line. Execution does. And I'm like, dude, great idea. Don't care. Great idea. Don't care. Great idea. Let's bring it back 30 days from now. Park it in the garage. That's what we keep telling them. Park it in the garage. And we'll get to it if we need it. And like anything, he's got 15 other ideas right after that. It's like, dude, okay, cool. Tell me what the first one was today. I don't know. Exactly. That's exactly. So, but when you're telling 25 staff members an idea on a group call, dude, you're derailing everyone from the COO to the CFO. Well, it's easy. No, well, the idea is easy. The execution's not so easy. And if it is, by the way, go implement it and then come back and report. So I think it's like getting these ideas going in the team. But back to the main point of losing it, and it really is a responsibility, right? 1% better every day. That's all we got to do. Everything you said too, like, you have to go out and trial this shit to see if you even like it. What don't I like? I need quantity. Okay, now I got quantity. Now I need to ratchet it back to quality. This goes with staff. This goes with their spouses. This goes with everything. We're learning. I think a lot of people, though, when they go out to the real world, because they're watching online, Tim and Mark have it figured out. It's easy. Well, dude, we got many years, and we've messed it up a lot. So a lot of people, they go out, execute, they mess up, and then they use that as their anchor why they can't succeed. As opposed to us, like, dude, we're messing up right now. There's something breaking. There's projects aren't moving like they should. There's lots of issues. So I don't know why people, or how they've created this idea of like everything is supposed to be perfect.
Dude, it's the whole, you either win or you learn, right? And if you don't have that concept and you think it's you either win or you lose, and losing is, to us, losing is not the end line, right? It's a catalyst. Okay, now we lose, we reflect, we learn, we go and implement better the next time. And so we're always taking these little incremental steps to become better by 1% or more every single day. And I think that's a learned trait. I think it's not normal in society to think that way. And so we've trained ourselves to think that way. And, we try to instill this with the kids every single night. When I put the kids to bed, we say our prayers. I ask them, what's something you're grateful for?
Yep.
And what's something you got tripped up at and learned from today?
Exactly.
Right? Because I want them to understand, and I share things that I screwed up
Sure.
at. Hey, here's something I lost at. Somebody sent me a text message and wanted to hop on a phone call, and somebody that, I could potentially do some business with 2 months ago, and it got buried in my messages, and I forgot to follow up with them. I followed up. I apologized. I asked them if they want to hop on a phone call. They said yes. I called them right away, and we got to see it through, right? And so even if you mess up, you can overcome it, you can learn from it, and you can make it right. And so I tell my kids this every single night, and I want it to be a repetitive practice of theirs, so that way every time that they lose, they see it as a learning experience, and it's not the end of the road, dude. It's not the, lay down everything and call it quits.
You're not going to learn any other way. My kids, if they're like, Dad, what'd you mess up on? I'm like, how much time do we got?
Yeah.
I got a whole list. But no, listen, I think, you're failing forward. We're constantly learning, growing, extracting. I talk to them about, all the stuff we're doing. If we sell something, buy something, a house or whatever. We just sold our house in Florida and all that. And, Drea was upset, crying. I'm like, Drea, it's part of life. Things change, evolve. It's not the end of the world. I understand you like that room. We can make your room look bigger and better and cooler and maybe carpet. And she's like, Dad, can I have my playroom in my bedroom? Yeah, cool. So it's like, but that's not failing. It's just like we're progressing, and it's not, again, it's like, who was I talking to? Someone's like, dude, are you ever aren't you just happy? Aren't you content with where you live? I'm like, once the house is done and I can't create any more, dude, I got to move. I literally, this is the longest I've been in a house, 5 years.
That's wild.
I just always am improving and growing.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to do a bunch of work at the house in Sanctuary. And I'm like, I want to add the tennis court now. Now we're going to redo this and I'm going to tear these streets. But once that's all done, I only got 14 acres. Once that's all done, I'm like, now what? Hopefully the kids are out of the house by then. I'm saying I'm downsizing, because it's like I have to
There's got to be a project of some sort.
Yeah, I mean, dude, we're fixers and creators, and it doesn't have to be a thing. But I have to be creating a book, creating a podcast, creating a house, always improving, and it forces me, and obviously it's frustrating, right? Because you got to deal with contractors, you got to deal with other people. Things break, people don't show up on time. Things happen. It's life, and it's like. The biggest takeaway is how do you navigate it when it happens?
Yep.
And if you think everything's going to be rosy and peachy, dude, you're in for a rude awakening.
Yeah.
But now that you're rich, now what? Dude, you have a big responsibility.
Yep.
You have a fiduciary. I feel like you have a fiduciary. I have a fiduciary mentality. I have to serve and help people that want to help themselves. Most importantly, don't fix broken people because they're broken and they don't want to fix themselves typically. Yep. But get out there and grind it out with them and steward this stuff. If we don't talk about this stuff, I'll be 48 this year. If we're not talking about it, I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for the kids. Dude, now we can record this shit. Our kids, when they're 45, can listen to our show that we were sitting at this moment. How crazy is that?
It's wild.
And then their kids' kid. Our parents and grandparents, they didn't have this stuff. Maybe TV back in the day in the late 1900s or what, in the mid 1900s, but that was TV. This is real life conversation, where we're at in the moment, in the journey. That's why I always like to do the books and it's creation, share, create content. All we're doing is just documenting, right? That's how this whole show came about. I'm rich, now what? It's not necessarily you're rich. That's another misconception too. I'm rich. Oh yeah, you guys, everything you talk, dude, we screw up. We have bad deals. Things go sideways. People talk shit. Yeah. It's interesting because the people that talk shit about the I'm rich, now what, and all this, dude, that doesn't mean we have it all figured out. We're not saying that. We're just saying these are thoughts and journey where we're at in the journey where we've accumulated certain things, and sometimes it comes easy come, easy go kind of sometimes. So it's that doesn't mean we're perfect.
Dude, and that's the thing. We're not saying that we're rich and here's how awesome we are. Dude, these are lessons learned along the journey, and you built some great businesses. I've built some great businesses. Here's what's gotten us here, and here's where we're looking at going, and here's what we're trying to accomplish, and here's the lessons learned along the way, and here's the conversations we're having with people who are further ahead than we are, right? Yeah. And these are the things that the questions that people bring us all the time who have built 7 and 8 figure businesses that look up to us as mentors and say, hey, like, what's next, right? I feel flat in this, or I feel
lost.
excited.
Dude, they feel
about
lost.
Yeah.
They're not happy. True story. I talked to a guy 2 days ago, like suicidal. Like he was like literally done. And I was like, tell me what's going on. He's like, man, I just don't feel like I have a place in the world anymore. I'm like, what are you talking? This guy's amazing. Like,
He's got a big business, smart guy.
Smart guy, but he's just dealing with personal issues, family issues. All this shit comes back to personal. You know, the 7-year-old boy shows up.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you know, I'm like, dude, like, you're so far in your head. And I was like, tell me what your day looks like. His day is not productive. So therefore, he's just sinking deeper and deeper and deeper. His confidence level is going down to the ground. And I was like, you have to get back on track. You have to set up a structure and become mechanical. You know, wake up at 4:30, go to the gym, work out for an hour. Dude, it's not going to be your best wake up. It's not going to be your best workout. Nothing's got to be the best. You just got to do it. Just get into motion, because as you go deeper in that game, it's going to take you 20, 30 days to get out of the funk mentally. And then now all of a sudden you find your stride, you know?
Dude, think about that. Like that whole, we all think we want to just hang out and sit on a beach. We think we want to hang out and play video games, or we think we want to hang out and just fish. And like, dude, there's a time and a place to do some of those things and just go and veg out for a day or two or whatever. But like, that's not a lifestyle. I remember, like, dude, that sedentary, not having anything to drive towards is a very dangerous place. Like, I remember being in high school and my mom was like, no, you got to be active in some sort of school activity during every season, right? So whether it's sports or student government or like a club or whatever, like you just have to be doing something, because she knows, or she knew, she was wise enough that she's like, if he's not doing something productive and positive, it's going to get backfilled with something negative and something counterproductive and something that could lead into a darker path, right? And sure enough, if you look back at the kids who didn't play sports or didn't have activities or didn't work after school, or like and they just went to school and they went home and the parents were still working, they usually got into trouble, or they usually were running around and drinking or whatever, like at an earlier age, or like, and I was too busy doing, you know, sports and stuff that were productive, that I couldn't get into that stuff, right? Not saying I wasn't exposed to it, not saying I didn't drink on the weekends in high school or anything like that, but like, I was so friggin' busy all the time. And then we get away from that because we have autonomy over our day and our parents aren't telling us what to do, or as you get older in business and you think you want this retirement type of a lifestyle, dude, it's not all it's cracked up to be at all.
And the good news is you want to find that out sooner than later. Because if you're working your ass off to get to 65 thinking everything's going to be amazing, you have a rude awakening, right? Again, back to this, go meet 10 people at a nursing home and see what real life's about. You know, it's like, enjoy life while you can, while you're around, while you're healthy, while your family's around, right? Because the reason you're doing all this shit is for the family too, right? So it's like, but yet we're so busy doing it for the family, we never get to spend time with the family. It doesn't make sense. So it's like, it's not balanced, but like priorities. You got to prioritize all this stuff, and we've talked about that many times. So on this topic though, do you guys ever feel like that? Do you feel like, you know, I'm overwhelmed, I'm going to lose it all. Today could be the day. And what's crazy too is when you're thinking like that, I'm winning too. And then there's a lot of stuff happening all at the same time. So this is why it's all mentality, man. It's all mindset.
Dude, it's in business, right? These swings happen not on an annual basis, not on a quarterly basis, it's like multiple times a day. Right? And you're like, you get a phone call and you get a client who wants to go and spend multiple 7 figures with you, or invest 8 figures with you, and you're like, oh, you're on top of the world. And then you get a call from a lender, or a call from something else where a building burned down, or like, and you're like, oh my, and so you have these peaks and levels, and it's like, how do you stay on the emotional roller coaster without flying off of it, right? Because you got highs and lows, and it's like, at the end of the day, man, you just keep the bar down, right, on a regular roller coaster to not go flying off. And by keeping the bar down, how do you keep the bar down in business and in life? In my mind, it's having a long-term vision. It's thinking 5 years, 10 years, 25 years down the road, and then it stabilizes the highs and lows on a day-to-day basis. And so if I'm always thinking in a long-term, you know, it's tough because I want to be present, and at the same time, these business things, man, they would rattle me. I get very emotional over some of that stuff because I think about what's going to happen to my team, what's going to happen to the finances, what's going to happen to all this thing, or reputation. What's wild is, you know, the people listening to this, right? And you and me, and they just need to be reminded. It's like, dude, we're far too resourceful, and we've figured it out every other time. That we don't need to be as stressed out when we figured it out every other time, right? And so, like, don't beat yourself up in the moment and during these times. And there's probably tactical things you can do that I've done in my life in order to reduce a little bit of the stress that comes with it, but still maintain the ambition, right? Like doing things just like buying everything in cash, or paying off certain assets, and putting having certain investments that creditors can't gain access to. Like, at the end of the day, if you went broke or filed bankruptcy, like, they still can't touch retirement accounts for the most part, insurance accounts, things that might be in your spouse's name, and there's ways to mitigate and at least build what seems like, kind of a financial moat around yourself, where, okay, hey, worst case scenario, I still have $2 million that I can go and gain access to, and I have a roof over my head, I have food on the table, and clothes on our back, right? And then I can have enough time to rebuild whatever. Like that, looking at that perspective of like, hey, what's a worst case scenario? How can I build this financial moat around my family and my businesses, and being more aware of that, right? Like I saw something, can't remember who it was, but they said profit is not natural. And usually when profit comes in, it gets spent, dude. And we just like burn it on certain things, or, we do more elaborate treatments or experiences for our team and things like along those lines. Like, dude, when things are going good, you got to build a reserve, right? And you have to be very aware of that. But I think you have to go through the experience of being up, being down,
the pain,
and being like, oh shit, I should have built a reserve.
So
the next time it comes up, which it always does, right? It's a cyclical thing. Then you build the reserve and you pad, and in order to just feel safer and feel more confident and be able to make better decisions next time it comes back down.
No, listen, there's no shortcut to what we're talking about. It just raw experience, right? You go talk to people, I wish I'd have messed up quicker. I wish I'd have messed up bigger, because every time you do these bigger things, because right, I remember, dude, like when I thought I was losing everything, I didn't do a wholesale deal, make $7,000. Now it's like those numbers are drastically way ginormous bigger, massively bigger. Not only that, back then it was just me, right? So my responsibility was to me. I didn't have a big team. I didn't have all these people. I don't have a family and kids and all that. So as we're building this, I wouldn't have that muscle. It's like going to the gym, right? This is a muscle you have to build. And the only way to get there is just get in the gym, get to work. And we're not saying go out and mess up on purpose. We're not trying to mess up on purpose, but it's going to come with it comes with the territory, period. The problem is they're watching social media though, dude. Well, that guy's 23, I'm 46. Why am I not successful? Who is saying he's successful? And by the way, hopefully he is, but that doesn't mean he's successful forever, maybe. Like I'm not judging what like I might get inspired by him, but I have enough maturity to know like social media is a snapshot of a moment. Just like when you're taking a picture with your family, are you showing the worst picture or the best picture? Right? Like, give me a break.
The kid's throwing a tantrum like 3 minutes before that, and then you're like, hey, smile to this friggin' picture, because otherwise,
take the pic, now. And then boom, then the wife posts the amazing. The kids were so amazing. It was such a great, whatever. So people are doing the same thing. I don't know why they don't have that filter when they're looking at this stuff. And
that's the key, man. It's just understanding. What is the expectation? The expectation for me isn't that I would ever retire and sit on a beach and end my days that way for the last 50 years, 30 years of my life, whatever. It's, no, dude, I'm going to work forever. It's just, I'm going to work on my terms, right? And that provides a level of new expectation, right, in my own mind, where it's like, hey, dude, so I'm going to keep on working. I can keep on doing business deals and real estate deals and finance deals until I'm 100 years old. And so, great. Now, how do I just build out a team and delegate certain activities and certain tasks that I don't want to do in the business side of things, realizing, hey, if I can create constraints in my schedule and I can work for 3 to 4 hours a day, dude, that keeps me sharp, keeps me excited, keeps me going, and then it leaves the schedule open for some freedom and travel and everything else that I want to do. It's like, I don't have to wait until I'm 65 to design that, though. I could do that right now and set the stage for that.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. So, guys, let us know if you feel the same way we're talking about, right? Like, if you feel like I'm going to lose it all, today could be the day, even though you're succeeding, right, in financial terms, let's say. Because sometimes, as you know, like, you might be succeeding financially, but at home you might be emotionally wrecked, or vice versa. Ideally, the perfect harmony is having them all work, but this takes communication with yourself, with others, and constant like tweaking, you know.
Yeah.
So
and what have you done to recalibrate your mindset, right?
Yeah.
Like, what have you done to recalibrate? Like, what are some exercises you've done or tactical things that you've done in order to recalibrate your mindset of like, hey, I can still maintain the ambition, I can still build and drive and push forward, and at the same time, I'm not just like frantic about losing everything. I think it can be a great fuel to continue driving, but I do think there's probably some stuff that you can set aside and financial moves that you can make, so that way you're not totally scared of becoming destitute.
yeah, you have to be careful though who you're talking about this stuff to, because you talk to your mom, your dad, your cousin, like people that care about you. They're like, Tim, you have everything. Why would you want more?
Yeah.
You know, what if you like? Because again, they think they're trying to protect you.
Yeah, good point.
What they don't understand is actually that could actually hurt us. It will hurt us way more.
Far more.
So it's like getting in a room, and again, it's not like they're not challenging you, but they're giving you bigger ideas, right? Because you might think you're a big dog at $1 million a year, and then you get in a room with guys making $20 million a year, like normal, and it's like they're like, huh? Like, how's that possible? And that's not you're below them or anything. It's just where you're at in the journey, and you can either aspire to do more and understand what they're doing or how they're doing it, and or just be cool with $1 million a year, 500, whatever the number is. It's irrelevant. But like getting in a room where people are like, good job, just be thankful for what you have. It's like, dude, I'm 32 years old. I'm just starting. Like, I'm ready to go bigger, right? Because it will hold you back, and it's going to hurt you way longer.
Yep.
Way longer term for sure. So guys, let us know down in the comments what you think. And Tim, we got more shows coming up here soon, and make sure they're showing the show. I wish I'd share it more.
Yeah.
We're not doing ads and all that fun stuff, but share the show, give us 5-star review, let us know what you think. And we got a lot of cool stuff in the works over there.
Yeah, ton. So appreciate you guys being here. As Mark said, please share it. We're not, selling anything. We're not doing anything like that. We're here to give as much value as we possibly can and open up dialogue around these conversations that we know is going through all of our different heads, and trying to just openly communicate. Here's things that have worked for us. There's things that we've strategized with, and create a community around those things so we can continue to grow together. It's been really, really cool to see people, I've been in your mastermind for 11 years now, and see people, and as their businesses have grown, and as they personally have grown, their families have grown, and all this really, really cool
life
expansion in life. And dude, I can't imagine what it's going to look like another 11, 22, 33 years from now, and where we all are. And we want you guys on part of that journey with us. So just by being part of the community and sharing and engaging and giving your feedback, we'd love to hear all of it. And if there's certain topics you guys want to hear, we'd love to talk about it. So just share that with us, and appreciate you guys being here.
Awesome. Thank you guys.